Hey everybody, how y'all doing today? This is your girl, Splendora Styles. I hope y'all are doing alright today. I'm doing alright today. Okay, jumping right in. I gotta be very quick today. Jumping right into today's toxicity is for a lesson, not for a lifetime. It is called to Un-Connotate. Connotate. Okay, what am I talking about? This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about change. I'm talking about reprogramming yourself. I'm talking about unlearning bad habits, okay? And the way we, slow down. I'm rushing because I'm rushing, okay? But a lot of times, most times when we are trying to change, it's very hard to change because of our belief system, okay? And as you may know or may not know, I've said it before, the way you change your belief system is by what you say, what you think, what you feel, okay? Now, I'm going to have to slow down just a little bit because it's a bad connection over here where I am. I'm waiting for them to open up. But anyway, so your words frame your life. That's what the Bible tells us. Your world is framed by your words. The things you say about yourself, the things you believe about yourself. And what brings me to this subject today is one of my little clients that I have mentioned before. She was at the cancer treatment center yesterday and she was upset and crying because day before yesterday, she was upset and crying because everybody had someone there with them. And she said she had gotten into it with her dad because he wasn't there. And I asked her, I said, did you tell her? And she said, no. I said, well, why didn't you tell him? I mean, how can he be there? See, that's that unspoken expectations kind of crap. You know what I mean? And like I always say, unspoken expectations go unmet. People are not mind readers out here. Hey, Michael Clark, how you doing? People are not mind readers. Like with a baby cry, you have to figure out, is the baby crying because they are scared, they're hungry, they're wet, what's going on? Are they lonely? But as an adult, you have the a command of the English language. You can tell somebody what you want. One thing I can't stand, and I don't do, is when a man asks a woman what's wrong and she says something stupid like, you should know. Why? Why should he just know? When you're in bed and he's trying to please you, you expect him to just know. Different women like different things. Different men like different things. It's called communication. You talk, right? Now, the most important talk on the planet, other than talking to the Most High God, is how you talk to yourself and what you believe about yourself. See, if you believe something, there's no way around it. And my young client, she feels like nobody cares. So because she feels that way, and she says it all the time, she behaves that way. See, what you say about yourself, you have to live up to it. What you say about other people, they have to live up to it. That's the law of life, just in case you didn't know. So if you have a certain picture, which is what the word connotate means, it means you hear a word, you say a word, and it brings a visual. After it brings a visual, it brings an actual into your reality. So if you have the idea, if you have the mindset, the belief, and the language that nobody cares about you, then you're going to act in such a way to where people don't care about you. You're going to behave in such a way to where people don't like you. Like I've always said, well, let me take that back. When I learned to say, everybody loves me. Because at that point in my life, in my mid-20s, I felt like nobody loved me. So I had to start saying, everybody loves me. And guess what? Today, everybody loves me. Of course, you have some enemies. They just love me in the wrong direction. And they have to wake up, and I'm patient. You understand what I'm saying? So now, to unconnotate, what am I saying? I'm saying to unlearn the words that you have learned and used over your life, over your children's lives, over your friends' life. Like, I don't have no real friends. Well, then, that's what you're going to attract. No real friends, because that's what you believe. Like I always say, my friends are brutally honest, because I'm brutally honest. I try to soften it up a little bit with a little bit of, sweetness. I try to soften my tongue, but that's hard to do sometimes depending on the situation. Okay? I have learned some coping mechanism to help me soften my tongue, like not speak for a whole 10 minutes if I'm mad. Walk away. Go woosah somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I do those things. Now, words bring about pictures. That's what connotate means. Okay? So, if you say something long enough, maybe about 10 times, maybe about 20 times, and you really believe that, it becomes part of your central nervous system. It's on repeat, it's on automate. So when a situation presents itself, it's like your central nervous system will say, remember, you don't like this. Remember, they don't like you. Remember, they don't care about you. Remember, you're unseen. So in order to be seen, you have to un-connotate. Nobody notices me, nobody sees me. You have to start saying, time I walk in the room. You gotta learn how to talk smack in some kind of ways, you know what I mean? But, instead of saying, nobody sees me, say, time I walk in the room, all eyes on me. And you tell yourself that, and you get that in your belief system, then you start acting that way. And it doesn't have to be, okay, no, let me slow down. I don't want to paint the wrong picture. I don't want to give you the wrong visual, the wrong connotation. What I'm saying is simply speak over your life, over yourself, things that you actually want. And then it'll start happening. Now, a problem, which is why I'm talking, that people have is they don't understand and know the true meaning of words. I always say, or used to say all the time, get a dictionary, study it. Get a thesaurus and study it. For instance, I will use myself as always as an example. When I was younger, I hated the word discipline. Oh, I hated that word. What? Do what somebody telling me to do for real? I couldn't stand that word. Because the people that I saw as disciplined were weak. I know in my mind, okay, bear with me, they were weak because they were so disciplined they couldn't use their own brain to recognize this is not a situation where you need to be disciplined. You got to do something different in this situation in order to survive. Okay? So in my mind, when I was younger, I didn't want to be disciplined, and I wasn't. So then as I got older, and I'm trying to do things, but I kept switching up. Okay? So then I had to accept the word discipline when I looked it up. Because me telling myself I'm disciplined or me trying to follow a straight line was hard because I like the word freedom. I had to learn that you can be disciplined in your freedom, and when you are disciplined, you have freedom, true freedom. You understand? Because when you're disciplined, you put things, infrastructures in place. You will put things, lay a foundation so that you can succeed, so that you can stabilize, so that you can grow, so that you can augment. But I had to look up the word discipline in order to get the former connotation of the word discipline out of my mind and out of my belief system. I hope I'm making sense in here. But I had to change the connotation in my mind. See, if you have, okay, let's say, this is how we create conflict in our lives. When we think one thing and feel something different. The Bible calls that being double-minded, because according to God, your heart is your mind, not your brain. But they have to agree for the mouth to speak in order to command your life. So if you feel like you deserve real love, but if you think you deserve real love, but you don't feel it, that creates a conflict. You have to make up your mind. You have to make the two minds agree so that you can be congruent. Everything going in the same direction, not here or there. Okay? When you become congruent within yourself, then your prayers will be answered. Then your decrees will take place. Then your belief system can operate the way that it is designed and created to operate. I hope all of this is taken because bad connection up here. So now, if you feel like, let's say the player dude, the player girl, you're not used to being committed. The idea of marriage just runs you in the other direction because of the connotation of the word marriage. But if you go look up the word marriage, it may not match what you have seen in bad marriages or common marriages. So you have to create a visual for yourself for what a happy marriage looks like for you. I'll use myself as an example. The connotation of marriage, that word when I was younger, that was something that was never going to be. Okay? No, I'm not kissing no man's tail. I'm not cleaning up behind him. I'm not cooking all the time, and then I got to go out there and work, and then I have to come and take care of the kids. Oh, no, I can do bad by myself. But then I learned I could do better by myself. Okay? So then, as I've gotten older, it's like I want to get married, but to whom? I don't want the connotation of a man that I have or that I've seen. I don't want that guy. I want a nice gentleman. I want someone who loves everything that I do, can support it, not compete with me. At least not put it down if you can't support me. Because a lot of men are insecure. And when they see a woman who's thriving, who's moving, who doesn't necessarily need them, but just wants them, they have it causes an unequilibrium in them. And a lot of them subconsciously or consciously will try to break a woman that is confident. They say, yeah, I want a woman like that, but when they really get one, they realize that maybe they don't want one like that. So what are your connotations of anything concerning you and your dream life? Are you speaking it? Or are you speaking against it? Get a dictionary. If you don't know what you want, and a lot of people do not know what they want because they were not taught how to dream. They were not taught how to work. They were not taught how to trust themselves. So they don't know what they want. They know what they want, but will the family like me? They know what they want, but will my friends continue to be my friends? They know what they want. Will I lose my wife? Will I lose my husband? Will I lose this job? What will I lose if I get the things, or if I decide to go after the things that I want? How hard will it be on me? And that keeps a lot of people stagnant and stuck on stupid. You know there's a better way, but you can't convince yourself because you don't have a visual. Get a dictionary and just look up words, words that mean happy, words that mean successful, words that mean healed, words that mean stable. Look up those words. Oh, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I did. I'm just passing on to you what I did for myself to change my life. It's all in your ordering mechanism. Your belief system is your silent ordering mechanism. It's always in operation. It's always bringing to you what you believe that you deserve. And if you do not believe that you deserve a good life, you won't get it. If you do not believe that you deserve a good person, a good friend, a good spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, you won't get it because you don't believe it. So you have to change your words. You have to un-connotate the things that you learn that tell you no. You have to un-connotate the things that tell you you're not worthy. You have to un-connotate the words that tell you you're never going to make it. You have to undo all that. You have to unlearn all that, which means you have to relearn or learn something new. That's all I'm basically saying. Put in the time, 10, 15 minutes a day. Get on your phone, go to the library, get a book, read, look up what it is that you want. It's not going to happen if you don't think enough of yourself to do the work. A lot of people do not like to self-reflect. I love it. Because when I learned that, it makes my life better because it helps me to see me. And sometimes even in that effort, even in that journey of seeing myself, I have to ask the Most High God, God, help me to not be blind to myself. Because, if you grow up a certain kind of way, it's a part of you. You learn to go on autopilot. You don't recognize that what you're saying, what you're doing, what you're not saying, what you're not doing is like you shooting yourself in the foot. You're used to doing it. You're used to saying it. You're used to believing it. So now it's time to unbelieve. Now it's time to unlearn. Now it's time to un-connotate. You get the right words in your mouth so you can get the right vision in your mind. Without a vision, the people perish. The Bible tells us that. So if you don't have no type of vision, you have nothing to walk toward. You have nothing to aim at. You have nothing to build on. You understand what I'm telling you? So, hold on. So, it's time to un-connotate. Look up what you want. And black people, we're good at, we create language. We like being ourselves, and we like it when people don't understand what we're saying. Talking in code, they used to say in the country. And if you don't find a word that describes what you want, which I think that's very hard because that dictionary is thick, okay? Create a word. Uber, what is that? It's a rideshare company, but what is it outside of that? We don't know. We know something can be uber wonderful. That means like over the top wonderful. But what is that? When I was in college and I worked as a chef at this little restaurant, the head chef, Daddy-o, he would say, get the higgy hoogie. And I'm like, what is the higgy hoogie? He said, whatever I'm pointing at. And I'm like, okay. But then after a while, one day I went to work. He said, look, bats. He called all females bat because he felt like all females were dingbats, right? He said, look, bat, go get the higgy hoogie and put it in the higgy hoogie and bring the higgy hoogie and set it on the higgy hoogie. And because, I don't know, because I kind of knew what we were doing, getting ready for it, I was able to go get exactly what he wanted. I knew what he wanted some kind of way. I went and got it, did everything he told me to do. And he kept using the word higgy hoogie because there were some new people there and he didn't feel like talking to them. He was mad. And so he was talking to me. And I said all that to say that God knows what you're saying. And God knows what you're feeling. So if you're like, for instance, I say God, universe, Harold, right? Because I've met people in my life who say they don't believe in God. I met people in my life who don't believe in the universe. I said, give him a name then. Give God a name and he'll know you're talking to him. And that's between you and God. Somebody's on the same wavelength as you. You have that power to create whatever it is you want. And if the words that you've been using do not give the right visual, the right connotation, then change your words. When you change your words, you change your actions, period. And when you change your actions, you'll get to where you want to be because you now have a new visual. So I hope I wasn't complicated with that. And I hope I helped you guys to become unstuck. The way to become unstuck on stupid is to un-connotate. And the way to un-connotate is to get a dictionary or a thesaurus and create a new visual. Okay? Well, anyway, I gotta go. They finally open. I see people walking in. So, I love you guys more than words can ever express. Have a great weekend. Michael, so nice of you to join me. You guys have, be loved. Know that I love you more than words can ever express. I'm all twisted up today. I don't know why. But anyway, you understand my heart. Love you guys. Bye now.